It's 3:30 p.m. If there's noise in the background, mute your microphone because I'm hearing a lot of noise.
Yeah, we'll ask you to mute yourselves, please.
Okay, thank you. Well, we'll call the Ways and Means Committee to order. And I'm not sure, Kristen, are you taking the roll? Okay.
Commissioner Foster.
Here.
Commissioner Hovey-Wright. I know I saw her on here. You're muted, Commissioner Hovey-Wright.
Here.
Thank you. Chairman Hughes.
Here.
Commissioner Laring.
Here.
Commissioner Mahoney.
Here.
Commissioner Nash.
Here.
Commissioner Snyder. Commissioner Wilkins. You're muted, Commissioner Wilkins. Okay, well, I'll mark you as here because I can see you saying here. And Commissioner Skolnick.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. The first, the next item is the approval of the minutes of July 7th, 2020. They were in your packet.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, support by Susie. Who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Nash. So are there any errors, corrections, comments on the minutes of July 7th? If not, we'll vote. Kathy, we probably need a roll call vote for everything, just to be safe.
Well, the minutes. Commissioner Snyder. Here yet.
Is he on?
Commissioner Wilkins. I haven't seen him.
Okay.
Commissioner Wilkins.
Here.
Are you voting yes on the minutes?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins? Thank you. Commissioner Foster?
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey-Wright?
Yes.
Chairman Hughes?
Yes.
Commissioner Laring?
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes.
And Commissioner Skolnick?
Yes. Okay, so the minutes of July 7th are approved. The next item is public comment on an agenda item. I see there are 27 participants, including staff and commissioners. So that means there's a number of members of the public on the call. So now's your chance. If you want to speak about an agenda item, now's your chance.
Anna Iverson.
Yes, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, Susan.
Go ahead, Donna.
Oh,
I assume the public transportation's on your agenda item, is that correct?
yes.
Okay, I would like to speak to that item.
Okay.
I am opposed to many of the changes that are proposed. I'm a public transportation rider. I don't have a car, and many of the changes that you are proposing are going to be a very hardship for me, as for many people in this community, especially low-income people and people with disabilities. I really want you to take a serious look at what's being proposed. I'm concerned that because of the pandemic, all this is just going to be passed quickly without really thoughtful consideration of how it impacts people. I need to get to medical appointments. I need to get groceries using public transportation, and it's looking less and less like that's going to be available to me, especially the GO bus, where it's proposed that seniors be eliminated from the GO bus and only people with disabilities. I'm a senior, and I also have a hidden disability, which I would apply for, but apparently MATS can look at my application and just decide, apparently on whim, whether or not I qualify. So I'm just concerned about the whole thing, and I hope that you're looking at this very seriously and maybe rethinking all the cuts that are being made. Thank you.
Okay, Donna, thank you very much for your comments. Is there anyone else? On the bottom of your screen, there should be a button that says reactions. You can, the button on the left is, you could raise your hand or you could just speak up right now. Anyone else?
This is Dharma Cantor.
Okay, Dharma, go ahead. We can hear you.
Well, I'm sure we are all sort of in a state of turmoil because our political environment is so distressing. But I would like not to be here, but here I am. And what I need to tell you is that I want you to not proceed with the Matt's proposal, not 57, 58, 59. Those are all things that would put us in a position, put the county in a position of being in violation of their contract. We've been trying to talk to you about this for a long time, but nobody will talk to us. So these are the issues. 1, discrimination is perpetuated through budget allocation and reduction of services. 2, discrimination is evident in the unequal impact of proposed changes to bus route and access to handicapped door-to-door service. 3, economic and environmental justice is denied to minority communities with the implementation of proposed reductions in service. 4, the process to develop a plan for federally funded transit services in Muskegon County did not include the knowledge and experience of residents who rely on the bus for transportation. 5, the 2008 contract shows that you are not in compliance with the limited English proficiency standards and assurances. In that report that you approved in 2018, it said that there had been no complaints in 3 years. That is not human nature. So there is a problem in the way that you are either giving people to access complaints or report complaints, or the way you're investigating them. It's not possible to go 3 years in a public transportation system and not get complaints. Okay, hang on. Finally, I report.
Excuse me, but your 2 minutes is up, ma'am.
Okay, I have sent all of this to each of you, so you will have a full copy. And I will be sending this to the Inspector General of the Federal Transportation Administration if I don't hear from someone.
Your time is up.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else? Kathy, Mark, do you see anything?
I don't see anything either, Bob.
Okay, I don't
No.
know. Okay. Then we'll move along. The next item is it's communication, the budget report. Beth is on the call. Beth, did you want to say something here? I forgot. It was at the agenda review meeting. You said something.
Yeah. Yes, I just wanted to give a brief kind of update on the budget as far as the current fiscal year 2020. And we are still in the process of reviewing and updating and evaluating the budget every day because things are still very fluid. We've been meeting with departments, Mark and I, over the last 2 weeks and are continuing to meet with them. We're still working on various cost reductions that we can include to offset some of the revenue reductions that we're experiencing. Last Friday, I submitted our grant application requesting $2.1 million under that Senate Bill 690 that passed into law to request reimbursement for payroll costs associated with public health and public safety staff for the months of April and May. So I'm hoping we get that. There was a $200 million pot of money through the CARES Act available for those costs. And so we've applied for 2.1 million of that. And we should find out hopefully in the near future if we will be awarded that full amount. I don't know how far $200 million will go across the state and including local units of government, but hopefully we will get that. I was also informed late last week of a CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant funding. The county of Muskegon has been allocated $433,000 of CDBG grant funding that I sat through a webinar today on. It's for covering COVID-related expenses. So I'm still in the process of researching and need to ask some more questions of what that money can cover for us. And we're still waiting on any type of official action from the state of Michigan as to any possible revenue sharing reductions for this year or next year. So things are still moving, and we're applying for as many grants as we can find. Not only am I doing that, but they're doing it at Health West and Public Health. But the plan is to bring a budget amendment for the current fiscal year in the month of August, once we've gotten more definitive information on some of these grants. And then we will also be bringing the fiscal 2021 proposed budget later in the month of August as well. So just wanted to kind of give you that update so you can know what we've been working on.
Okay, Beth, thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to items for consideration. Kathy, did you see that Commissioner Snyder is here? You did? Okay, great. The first item is WM 20/07-55 to approve payment of the accounts payable of $1,890,250.76, covering the period of June 20th, 2020 through July 3rd, 2020, for checks as presented by the county clerk.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion that's been supported. It's a relatively small payable this meeting. I think there was only 4 major items on there, and they're on your explanation. Are there any discussion on this?
Bob, I'd like to make a comment. So I'm going to continue to vote no on these motions until we can get anything over $100,000 isolated so that we can debate them individually.
Okay, anybody else? Then we'll vote. Roll call, please, Kathy.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Okay, thank you. The next item is WM 20/07-56 to approve the second amendment to the agreement between the City of Muskegon and the Muskegon Board of Commissioners, which calls for the Muskegon County Human Resources Department to provide human resources services to the City of Muskegon from July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023.
So move. Second.
Support.
Okay. We have a motion. It's been seconded. Are there any questions? Is Kristen on? Kristen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I do have a comment.
Okay.
Go ahead, Marcia.
Yeah, Beth, does this amount of money that's approved in this cover the cost of providing the service to the city? I mean, it looks like enough for one position, so I wondered about that.
That would be Kristen that can answer that.
We have Kristen Wade on here, director, to answer that
Sure.
question.
Hi, Kristen Wade, Human Resources Director. So yes, it certainly saves the city money because they, obviously couldn't staff a department for this amount of money. but it is not any detriment on the county either. So I have multiple people that handle, I have some people that handle the recruiting. I have some people that handle the FMLA and ADA. So I did not have to hire any additional people to do this work.
Okay, thank you.
Kristen, these are all functions that we do anyway, correct?
Right.
Correct, for the most part. I serve the civil service director for the city and administer the civil service rules for the city. So that is something that is not replicated in the county, but all the other human resource functions are.
Okay. And there is an increase in the rate over the coming years.
Right.
Yes, 2% for each of the next 3 years. And the city commission did approve it last week.
Okay, great, thank you. This is a win-win.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Bob,
Yeah.
I agree this is a win-win, but I've mentioned this before, and especially to Kristen before. Why do you bring these to us after the year has already started? Why don't you bring this to us a month or two ahead of time instead of bringing us to us for something that started 3 weeks ago?
Well, I wanted to wait until the city had approved it, and the city did not approve it until last week.
Did the city tell you that they were thinking about doing it so you could have brought it to us in anticipation?
No. They were
That
delayed,
was a question.
as everybody with this COVID, yeah.
Bob, I have a question.
Yes, somebody else?
Yeah, so Kristen, I don't know if I understood this correctly. So this isn't necessarily a benefit to the county financially. It actually costs the county money to provide this service for the city?
No, I don't believe so. Again, I didn't hire any additional staff, so there isn't any additional expense to the county, but it does provide some additional revenue.
Kathy, I can't hear you.
So I guess I don't understand. We have staff there that's not being kept busy enough to work the county's work, so they got time to go work on city operations. So would you be able to lay staff off or let staff go if we weren't providing this service?
I'm in the midst of a Zoom meeting right now. Thank you.
If we weren't providing this service, I would certainly need to take a look, because you're right, it would decrease workload in my office. However, there's not one person that's solely working on city functions.
Right. So my concern with this is it's not a benefit to the entire county if it's not bringing in significant revenue. So I don't know why the entire county is basically underwriting the city of Muskegon with this program.
This is Mark. I'll add into this discussion. There are several departments, equalization and IT services that we help other communities throughout. We try to make sure it doesn't cost us anything, but we have to be careful on making a large revenue off of it. So we definitely want to cover our services, but we want to try to help other communities throughout the county on multiple different department levels.
Well, I don't know that that's necessarily our role as the county administration to provide services, contract services to the cities. I mean, other municipalities are hiring and training and equipping their own employees, but yet we seem to be benefiting one city here unequally, or one municipality within the entire county at the cost of all of the county's expenses. I would like to see this be a cash generating opportunity for the county if we're going to provide this service.
If I could weigh in on this, I think that we forget that we are a service-minded institution that provides services to all our citizens within the county. And being that we go into partnership with our local municipalities, whether it be human resources or whether it be equalization or whatever other department, it goes to help them be more efficient and they also compensate us for that effort. So that is it's a win-win for the entire community.
All right. We'll vote on this then. Kathy, could you do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Sorry, who did you call?
Chairman Hughes,
Susie? Did we lose her?
I don't see her on here anymore.
He just came back, I saw.
Oh, okay. Chairman Hughes? I'll come back to her. Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder, Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes, and Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 no, 1 unresponsive.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. The next item is WM 20/07-57. Move to authorize MATS to implement the MATS service change proposal, which removes the fixed route and go bus system that was in place in February 2020 prior to COVID-19 and implements new routes and ADA service consistent with the route study and comprehensive operational analysis to be effective September 27, 2020.
I can hear everything now. So I think I'm back in.
Okay, Susie, are you back?
I think, yes, I think so, Bob. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
I had to log out and log back in. I could see, but I couldn't hear anything and it was all fuzzy. Thank you.
Okay, Kathy, do you want her to vote on 56?
Yes, please. Chairman Hughes on 56. What was your vote?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Wilkins did make the motion on 57, but we didn't have a support.
Okay, we need a support on 57.
Support.
Snyder,
Okay. All right, is there any discussion on this? Jim Coons for Mathis. Yes, Marcia?
Yes, I just wanted to make it very clear. I mean, some of the people in the audience pointed out the problems with these proposals. Oh, I'm sorry, my printer just went. I see 57, 58, and 59 as a three-legged chair where you have to have all three pieces for it to work. And even with that, there's significant losses in service, which would probably require going for a millage. And I'm not opposed to that, but if we don't go with a millage, we have to have all three pieces. We have to have the microtransit ready to go March 31st, and the reserve ride and the fixed route system. Even with that, I have some concerns.
Anybody else?
Commissioner Bob,
Yes, Ken.
this is Commissioner Mahoney. I'm concerned that we're taking a proposal, a study that should be comprehensive, and we're picking and choosing a few items out of it that look like they would be simple to implement. As far as the micro transit goes, if we don't implement that, the rest of it's not worthwhile. It all falls apart. In terms of countywide access to Go Bus, that's gone. Seniors don't have access to Go Bus. In fact, if the new proposal goes through, disabled throughout the county will not have an access to Go Bus unless they're within 3/4 of a mile of the bus route. So we're significantly reducing the ability to do anything for the seniors and the disabled in the county.
Can the temporary reserve ride, item 59, would pick up that for now until the micro transit system we put that out for bid. Jim, do you want to comment on this? Jim Coons?
Yes, commissioners, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. As you are aware, we have been discussing for quite some time now the financial position of the Muskegon Area Transit System as a county department. And beginning in May of 2019, we undertook a study to identify how we could realign the resources, realign the program delivery to be better within the resources available. These three motions are intended to move us toward that direction, where the route program and the required Americans with Disabilities Act program is more closely aligned with the budget that we have available from existing resources, and that the microtransit solution would be further developed and made available to communities that want to bring resources to that solution. The Reserve a Ride is a temporary solution to help fill in gaps while we develop the microtransit. But again, this is moving us out of the position we were in fiscal 2018 and 2019, where the county general fund was having to fund the system, and as requested by the board reviewing the delivery. It was also requested by our partner communities. When we asked them for more resources, they indicated they would like us to review the system design. And so the motion directly in front of you is to implement the route changes and the Americans with Disabilities Act required service, and then to move. Once we have that decision from you, then we can move forward to identify available resources and interested partners for the microtransit solution.
Bob, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Jim, I would like to understand this better, so I'm going to ask you a question about it. If we pass this proposal today, it will increase the services over what we have right now under the COVID-19 restrictions for people, correct?
With this motion, if we are able to, presuming COVID-19 does not flare up significantly again between now and September 27th, on September 27th, we would be looking to move to a longer service day, Monday through Friday with our route program. And then the Reserve a Ride would cover our Saturday as well as supplemental areas on weekdays. So yes, it would result in a longer service day than what we're currently operating, and it would have 2 more vehicles in service.
And my thoughts are that Ken and Marcia and Bob are all right. We do need to move forward with some of the other things, but I think moving forward with some increased services right now is also an important thing too, rather than keeping them at the bare minimum that we're at right now. So I would like to see us move this forward, at least until we can get the others in place, so that our people can be better, the best served we can do at this moment.
I agree. You know, we'd all like perfect bus service, but the problem is we're not mandated to do it, and the local municipalities need to help us do it if they want it. We simply can't afford to run a countywide bus system all on our own.
Agreed.
All right, we'll vote on this then. We're voting on number 57.
Bob, I had a question before you do that.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
Charles, go ahead.
I wanted to ask Jim, you say the Go Bus will do our Saturday service. What hours are we looking at for Saturday services?
In motion number 58, it describes the Reserve a Ride program, and what we're proposing in motion 58 is that would operate from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. In a
Jim,
geographic.
you mean 59, Jim?
I'm sorry. Yeah, the last motion.
59.
Okay, all right.
And does that replace our senior transit one bus? Or our minibus that we have? Our Go Bus, I guess it's called.
Well, let me, if we can go back to the motion that's directly in front of you would change the existing routes. It would change the pre-COVID routes to be the new routes that were recommended in the route study. It would also essentially end the pre-existing Go Bus program and instead provide just the Americans with Disabilities Act complimentary paratransit service, which means it would be for persons with certified disabilities and within 3/4 miles of the route network. So that's what this motion would do. The Go Bus as a moniker, as a brand, would likely be discontinued to reduce any confusion in the future. But we would have new routes and a new ADA complement under this motion.
So it would just barely meet the requirements of it, correct?
It would fully meet the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I
Commissioner,
would like to say something. The 58, what's encompassed in 58 is
Point of
really
order, 58 in a minute.
57, I'm sorry. What's incorporated in 57? Is that what you mean?
I mean, let's talk about one at a time.
Yeah, I meant 57. What's incorporated in 57 is incomplete without the micro transit system. So in my view, you can't have a reduced bus system without the micro transit and of course the disability transit. So I just want to make it really clear that they go hand in hand, and I'm not sure how to make that happen with the 3 different proposals. But I just wanted to make that clear.
All right.
Commissioner Mahoney had a question.
yeah, just
Go
a
ahead.
comment. Several of the municipalities have already put money into the system to keep it flowing. City of Montague, Dalton Township, and others did the MARC route and funded that. And that disappeared. It's not, at this point, the additional money from those municipalities will be in doubt if there's not a transit into that area.
Right.
Okay, I'd like to ask one more question, Bob, if I could.
Oh, yes, Susie, go ahead.
Jim, if we don't, I guess I'm concerned that if we don't pass this, we're going to stay at a really reduced service for the people. Is that correct, or are we just trading reduced for reduced?
Well, ultimately, if this does not move forward, the board will have to determine what you would like to do. Presently, we are at a significantly reduced deployment of services, but we haven't had final decisions that allow us to make all of the staffing decisions and move to the new normal, if there is a new normal. If we remain in a reduced service under COVID, like we have right now, eventually we need to go to something. And if we go back to what we had in February of 2020, we already know what the financial picture is to go back to that.
So, Bob, I'd like to make one more comment. We have been working on this for over a year. We've discussed it ad nauseam. We've had public meetings, public interactions, written correspondence with residents. And we spent over $100,000 to come up with this plan. We need to move it forward.
All right, listen, I understand everybody would like to have the best service and with no impact on the budget. I'd love to do that, but unfortunately, the reality is we've got a county with 334 square miles and a limited amount of money to cover it. I'd like to move ahead on, vote on 57, and, you know, I would encourage everybody to support 58 and 59 because it's sort of a package.
Thank you.
So let's vote on 57. Kathy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Reluctantly, yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay. The next item, I'm sorry for that. The next item is WM 20/07-58. Move to authorize MATS to issue a request for proposals for a turnkey micro transit service.
So moved.
I would like to amend that motion.
Support.
Well,
Okay, we have a motion that's been supported. Marcia, what would you like to do?
I would like to add that to the words "to have in place by March 31st, 2021.
I will accept that amendment.
Okay, Gary?
Yes, I agree.
All right, so, we need to vote. I think we need to vote on the amendment. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the motion is to put a time certain date on 58 to March 31st, 2021. I don't know if that's March 31st. Well, that's, I don't know. Jim?
That's when everything
No,
changes.
I understand. Jim, do you think you can get an answer by then?
That is our goal to work toward anyway, so adding it to the motion is fine with me, and we will bring it back to the board if we encounter something that needs to change.
Okay, so let's vote. Kathy, I hate to do this to you, but we need to vote on the amendment.
Correct. Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, great. All right, now we need to discuss the original, the whole motion, which is to authorize MATS to issue a request for proposals for this turnkey micro transit service by March 31st, 2021. I'd like to just say,
So moved.
did we? was this
Support.
already- We already.
It's
had-
already been there. We're just
it's already
voting on
been-
it.
I know.
It's already done.
But-
Moving it along.
Before there are other comments, I am hoping, beyond hope maybe, that this works, because this would be the solution to the lack of transportation for many people in this county. And there are services out there that provide this service. The question is, can we afford it? And some other communities are going to have to buy in. But go ahead. Who else would like to speak to this? Marcia?
No.
No? Okay. Anybody else?
I would like to speak to it. And I think that what we need is we need to get a system where we develop data, hard data. And the problem that we have, and the reason why we're going through all these changes, is because we have none of that. You know, we have a study that's built on surveys and input and things of that sort, but we don't really have any hard data facts about our ridership whatsoever. And I'm just proposing that we put together some type of a motion to demand that this be developed right away.
Can I speak to that, Bob?
Yes, go ahead, Susie.
I've asked Jim Coons to get with our IT department and find out what our IT department can get us that will count the riders getting on and getting off, so we have an accurate count. Jim, would you please get on that right away?
Commissioner Bob Lukens and I are following up on that.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, anybody else?
I would like to make an observation, and that is that I've had a conversation with people who would be interested locally in taking a long, hard look at the possibility of providing that micro transportation. And I think we ought to, if we can keep it local, we should do so.
Okay. Anybody else? If not, we're going to vote on number 58. Roll call, please, Kathy.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright.
Yes, with it, I'm assuming that the words "to have in place by March 31st" is included.
That's correct. Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick,
Yes.
9 yes.
Okay, great. Okay, the next item is WM 20/07-59. Move to authorize MATS to develop and operate a new temporary reserve a ride demand response program to provide supplemental service from September 27, 2020 through March 31st, 2021. I need a motion. Motion by Gary. Any support? We need support.
I'll support it.
Okay,
Yes.
support by Snyder. So this is just another piece of the puzzle to make this will fill in the gap until we hopefully have a micro transit service that will work for us.
I have a couple of questions, if I may, Bob.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So I'm wondering what the cost of this service is going to be. I see the fare descriptions on here, but there's no budget. It doesn't suggest that it's budgeted, non-budgeted, or partially budgeted. What's the total cost the county provide this per month or till the March 31st, 2021? Has that discussion taken place? It's a question for Bob. I'd like to know the cost of the county taxpayers before we approve this.
Jim, do you have an answer for that?
Commissioners, this is a little bit undeveloped yet. There's a lot of work to be done on the next 60 days on this. But in essence, I said the word Go Bus would be going away most likely, but in essence, this takes a Go Bus type approach to a restricted geographic area for a 6-month time frame and opens it to the general public. Our estimate is we're going to need perhaps 3 vehicles in this. If you look at the MAT's budget for fiscal 20, I think this can fit within what was originally budgeted. We may have to go back and look at our amounts a little bit to make this happen. But again, this buys us, so to speak, the gap protection while we work on the microtransit solution. We had budgeted for microtransit services. I don't remember the exact number, so this is kind of putting some of those resources into our directly operated temporary service while we keep working on microtransit.
I have a question on that too, if I could.
I don't have an exact number for you at this time.
Bob, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Susie. Yes.
Jim, are you asking to buy vehicles to do this yourself?
No, in this motion, we have the vehicles we would need for this in our fleet now. I mean, it comes out of the Go Bus fleet.
Okay.
We have both, some small buses or minivans that we can use in this service.
What made you come up with the $2 and $4? How did you figure that?
So a couple of things. First of all, the $2 fare is, as proposed in this motion, is the fare that would be paid by seniors or persons with disabilities. That is identical to what those folks pay right now to use the Go Bus in this area. So there's essentially no change to a person with disabilities or a senior to be able to use this reserve a ride during the 6-month period.
What I'm asking
The
you is,
$4
did you come up with how much it's going to cost us to do it? So you know what it's, I mean, is it going to cost
no,
us $40 a trip and you're going to charge them too? Or, I mean, do you have any idea on that?
Well, presently the Go Bus program probably costs us $40 per trip. So this is not by any means recovering the cost of the trip. This is keeping it steady while we go through this transition. The $4 cash fare that's shown here is for the general public. That is a new opportunity for the general public. They do not currently have access to the Go Bus program. And there's a requirement in both state and federal law that we have to have a half fare for seniors and disabled. So I took the half fare provision, looked at the $2 fare that we charge now, and I created a $4 cash fare for the general public. There's not a lot of science behind that. It's taking our status quo for the seniors and disabled, and then taking the general
I get
public
that, but
fare.
is that a, I guess I'm wondering, is that even a feasible financial option for us?
For 6 months, I think it's a reasonable thing for us to do. We've been
Okay.
doing it for many, many years while we now look through this transition.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
So I can't imagine, sorry, Mr. Commissioner Skolnick, can I ask another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I can't imagine that this micro transit system is going to be providing rides for $2 and $4 for individuals. So basically what this says is each time this reserve a ride goes out, it costs the county taxpayer $38, if I heard you correctly, or $36, depending on the amount of fare. So every time this goes out of the garage, it's a cost to the taxpayer of the county, $38 or $36 per ride. If these rates need to be raised, we can't continue to feed the entire county for this.
Commissioner, this is Mark Eisbar. May I add to that? Prior to 2017, the 5 municipalities pretty much subsidized and paid for the system. Since then, the routes went up, so now the county is subsidizing it. So the system has always been subsidized. We went and visited with each of the 5 municipalities over the last couple of years, and they've been waiting for us to take action 1 and 2, and they're excited about both actions. So they're willing to increase their contribution based on our actions on 1 and 2. Now we'll go back to each of the 5 now, Bob, Lukens, myself, and Jim, and discuss this with us. But according to the mayor, the city manager of Norton Shores, they've already increased their budget to help subsidize these rides. If that helps, it helps you
And
feel any better.
Isn't there Commissioner Skolnick?
Yeah, Marcia, I just want to say that the actual cash fares on the entire MATS transit system are a very, very small part of their overall budget. It's probably less, it's not even 10%. And not only that, as the cash fares go up, the amount that we get subsidized goes down. There's a relationship there. The more you charge, the less you get from the federal and state subsidy. Jim, is that correct? Just so I don't have this wrong.
There is some truth to that. I mean, the fares are important, but they have to be, we can't expect the fares to cover the cost of the service.
Okay, Marcia, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, isn't there also, this reserve a ride, won't it be multiple people in a van? So it's not the full, the cost is shared. It's my understanding, as it will be with microtransit.
Yes, this will be shared ride. It will be, similar to what we've done with the Go Bus was shared ride, and the microtransit will be shared ride. What we do not have until the microtransit solution is in place is all of the real-time technology that comes along with increasing the number of passengers on board. And that's really what the microtransit starts to bring to the table.
What
All
what kind of technology are you talking about?
Well, again, what is brought to the table in the microtransit solution is a live real-time booking system where when a new customer is added on, because everything is real live, on-demand booking, all of the algorithms in that software in that hosted solution helps to increase the number of passengers on board. Pretty soon, if you have a number of people that are all $2 or $4, pretty soon you might be recovering $20 per hour or per trip to get multiple people on. So, we don't have all of that in place in the same way that these new vendors are doing it.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know what that software is going to look like, but if you look at a system like Uber or Lyft, and I mean, it's going to be something along that. That isn't simple software. That's complicated. That's software that's highly specialized, and I suspect that's what Jim Coons is talking about here.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and vote on 59. I need a roll call, Kathy, please.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Snyder,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Foster,
Yes.
Commissioner Hovey Wright,
Yes.
Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Laring,
No.
Commissioner Mahoney,
Yes.
Commissioner Skolnick.
Yes.
8 yes, 1 no.
Okay. That's all the items for consideration. The next item is old business. Does anyone have any old business to bring to Ways and Means?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Nash.
just so that we make sure we stay on top of this, I'd like to make a motion that our match director bring back a proposal to the county board in the next 90 days on how to collect the hard data from our match fixed service rides.
Mark, you're muted.
I will agree to that, and I will second it. I didn't get the last part of it. I want to make sure I understand the last part of it, Charles.
What I said was I would like to make a proposal that we have our match director come back to the county board with a plan on how we're going to collect the hard data from our fixed route bus system.
Commissioners, you can direct me to do that. We can just do that directly. And I'll work with my staff to do that.
So, Charles,
I just want to make sure that we have it in writing so we get it back in 90 days. I don't want it to get lost in all this other stuff.
Charles, what do you mean by hard data? Like what information?
We don't collect data on our ridership. That's our problem right now, is that we're just doing things like a field of dreams. We build it and they'll come. But what we need that hard data to know, how many riders are riding, when is our high time, we need to collect that hard data. And we're just not doing that.
Okay. We're gonna,
This is just about fixed routes,
Mark,
fixed route services.
we're gonna have to figure out what information we need.
Well, that's why we have department heads and directors, so they can do that.
Right.
Charles, I agree, and that's why I want our IT department to get involved and get something right away that will work for us with that count, because I agree.
Right, and that's
we
what I
need that
say,
count.
if they can work on it and bring us something back in 90 days, that's exactly what I would like to see. And I'm hoping the board is okay with that.
Mark just said he could do it, so let's go forward.
Yeah, I'll take care of that with our IT director and our, obviously Bob Lukens and Jim.
So I
Sounds
have
good.
a that, if I may, there's a cost in data collection. Are you going to be able to collect all this data that you think or that he's looking for free?
We're just looking for a proposal on how we can do this.
Well, we've been over a year working on this. We got a proposal. We hired somebody for over $100,000 to give us a proposal. I'm wondering what this proposal is going to cost.
This is about data collection, not about putting together a plan. This is about data collection only. We need a plan on how to collect this data. And if it has the cost, then we need to know that.
And I did talk to Director Phillips a couple months ago, and he said that we can get counters that'll go on the bus and count you getting on or getting off or getting on, several different ways that you could do it that are fairly reasonable. I would like to see what he can come up with that gives us a cost for that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
Larry.
efficient ways to do this.
Okay.
So we'll take care of it.
Okay,
no cost.
Mark,
Well, no, I'll bring back costs.
Charles,
We'll implement without you
it's
voting on it.
it's in Mark's hands. He'll get it to us.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, any new business to be brought before the Ways and Means Committee?
Commissioner, I do myself. The work share program is ending this Friday. There are several departments who would like to continue working on this work share program going forward to help the budget concerns that Beth mentioned earlier today. So at full board, I'll be bringing back a motion discussing the departments who are participating in going forward. At the same time, the feds are discussing any kind of continuation on that program as well. So if there is both the continuation from the feds and the state, I'll share that as well next Tuesday. But I just want to give you the opportunity to start thinking about continuing the work share program.
All right, Mark, thank you.
Yes.
All right, now there's public comment. Anybody would like to say anything about anything? Now's your opportunity. There's 28 people on the call.
Donna has her hand up.
Okay. Donna, go ahead.
Okay, two things. The data thing is interesting, but you have the data. I mean, before this COVID thing, last year, for example, every time somebody gets on the bus, they pay a fare. There must be records of how many people get on and how many people have gotten off. Right now, ridership is down. People are scared to get on the bus. They're scared that the bus is not a safe place. And that issue hasn't been addressed in these proposals. And I think that's a critical issue. Second, I'm really confused about the Go Bus and what seniors can ride on and what they can't ride on. The proposal was seniors can no longer get on the Go Bus after this proposal goes through, but they can get on the share or request a ride, which is now the Go Bus. So can seniors, I just don't understand what's going on there. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else got their hand up? I don't see anybody.
I'm not seeing anybody either.
I'm not either.
All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Board comments?
Support.
Oh, I'm sorry, board comments. Final, I think everybody's had a pretty good say here today. Anybody else have any final comments?
Yeah, let's
Mr.
adjourn.
Bob,
Yes, Ken, go ahead.
just to wish you well in what's happening with Merle and you. My prayers are with her.
And I second that.
If you don't see my Facebook page, yesterday, it was determined she had the MRSA virus in her finger. And that turned into a little bit of a catastrophe. She needs a pretty heavy duty IV for 2 weeks. So, I mean, she's had a lot of luck. Unfortunately, it's all been bad luck, but other than that, she's in a pretty good mood, but it's been tough on both of us. Okay,
Take care of yourself, sir.
thank you.
I'll say one thing, she's a fighter.
She is,
Yes, she is.
she is a fighter. She's not a very good patient, though, I can tell you that.
Sometimes they're not.
She's been complaining a lot, so, all
She
right.
has a right. She has a right.
I think we should make, did we have a motion?
So moved.
To adjourn.
We had a motion and a second, yes.
Okay, so all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed? We're adjourned. We'll see you next time. Thank